Here, to distinguish between a real thing and a recognition that expresses a real thing, we call a real thing, and call a recognition that expresses a real thing, an individual thing. However, strictly speaking, a real thing does not have a name, a real thing, written on it. In other words, people do not give a name, a real thing, to a real thing. Instead, people give a name, a real thing, to an individual thing that is a recognition that expresses a real thing in their heads. This is why a real thing has different names depending on the languages. So, I said earlier, we call a real thing, and call a recognition that expresses a real thing, an individual thing. But in fact, real thing is just an individual thing with a name, a real thing. By calling an individual thing by another name, real thing, we merely making it appear as if we call a real thing that is not an individual thing. But that doesn't mean it's not necessary to distinguish between a real thing and a recognition that expresses a real thing. When we study recognition that expresses a real thing, it is often necessary to distinguish between them. So, in this lecture as science lecture, basically, we distinguish between a real thing and an individual thing. And only when it would make the discussion unnecessarily difficult to understand, we do not do so, and call both a real thing and an individual thing a thing, like people usually call both real water and individual water, water. Now, one more consideration. We have been saying that natural and social law, shortly, law is all of a collection of individual things. However, strictly speaking, law is the structure of all of a collection of individual things. And a structure of a thing is a type of relation within a thing, which is an attribute of a thing. So, law is an attribute of all of a collection of individual things, which is common to all of a collection of individual things with natural regularity and not common to all other things. In other words, law is a universal characteristic of all of a collection of individual things. And all of a collection of individual things is a universal collection of individual things, shortly, a collection of individual things. Therefore, law is a universal characteristic of a collection of individual things. Yes, law is the essence of a collection of individual things. The world does not think of law as the essence of a collection of individual things. But some people intuitively call natural law the essence of nature or the essence of the universe, and their observation is correct. For example, the law, heated water boils at 100 degrees Celsius at 1 atmosphere, is the essence of a collection of individual things that compose the heated water in the pot boiled at 100 degrees Celsius at 1 atmosphere, that are water, pot, heating, boiling, 100 degrees Celsius and 1 atmosphere.